Shalom Israel, it's your brother Marcus G back with yet another Truth for Thought. First and foremost, I must give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. I must give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. Secondly, the prayer list. This time for the prayer list, at the end of the prayer list, I have something that I want to share with you, Israel. I've received emails from my beloved brother before. I've expressed to you, Israel, his need to be in prayer and continued prayer. Well, things have changed and some things have come up. So let's start by just doing it as normal. We got King Ricky, also known as Pretty Ricky. We have Queen Piper, Queen India, Queen Roxanne, Queen Orlando. Israel, I ask that you keep them in your prayer. We still have the Ellis family with Charles Ellis Sr., Queen Sydney Ellis, and King Charles Ellis Jr. I apologize. It's King Charles Ellis Sr., Queen Sydney Ellis, King Charles Ellis Jr. I ask Israel that you continue to keep them in your prayer. King Kemar and his family, I ask Israel you continue to keep him in your prayer, as well as Queen, my beloved family, spiritual family, my beloved grandmother, spiritual grandmother, Queen Raya, my beloved aunt, Queen Shay, and her son, King Daniel, my beloved mothers, Queen Valerie and Queen Paula, mothers in the truth. Israel, I ask that you keep them in prayer, as well as Queen Crystal, Queen Ashley, King Joshua, Queen Brittany. Married couples. I have an addition to the married couples as well. There is a couple that are betrothed to be married. I've been counseling them for some weeks now, heading into their union, which is scheduled for next July. So new on the prayer list, I ask that you, Israel, keep King Aaron and Queen Andrea in your prayers as they embark on their righteous walk towards a righteous union. I also ask that you keep in prayer Queen Cassandra and King Ben. I've not heard from you all in a little while. I pray to hear from you all and preferably with a beautiful update, an update that has been touched by the Most High himself. We now have King Jermaine and Queen Kenya. Keep them in prayer. They have another little test that has come up, and they're currently being patient. They're doing everything that they should do, and they are diligently being patient to see as to how the Most High is going to move on their behalf with the latest issue that has come up with them. I also ask that you keep King Diamond and Queen LaShonda in your prayer and their families, as well as King Greg and Queen Sharon. As I said last week, we also have King Josh and Queen Marissa. Queen Marissa, I've been seeing your channel. I've been seeing you. Hey, all praises to the Most High is all that I can say. And last but not least on the prayer list, and for this, I need to share my screen. Israel, as I stated earlier, I had been contacted by one of our beloved brothers before in the past. And I'm going to share with you the latest emails that I've received from our beloved brother, King Shalom Israel. All right. And I'm going to read it to you. It says, I pray all is well with each of you and your family. As for my writing unto you, I am, well, let me start from the beginning. It says, Shalom, brethren, in Abba Yah. For anyone that's new in the truth and don't understand what he's saying, Shalom, my brother, in our Father, Yahweh. That's all he's saying. I pray all is well with each of you and your family. As for my writing you, I am presently in the hospital. Before entering the hospital, I am currently homeless. This has been my beloved brother. My beloved brother has been in the wilderness for some time. And I've mentioned him in the prayer list. I'm going to keep him in the prayer list. And for not mentioning you, Brother Israel, I apologize. It is not, it was not anything out of malice. It's as you probably see, the list grows and grows, and I'm keeping you on the prayer list. I know your history thus far. All right. Let me keep reading. For feet treatment, family, I need your prayers and any support and relief that you are able to send. It is my prayer before Yah that Yah's infinite mercies, uncommon favor, and great shalom touches your heart and mind to prayerfully consider my petition and supplication. If you are able and moved on Yah's spirit, my information is below, along with my video petition, which I recorded from the hospital where I'm currently at. I do have a copy of that video. You can also see the video petition on any of those links. I'm going to include these in the description. I'm going to include his information as you see down here, his Cash App, his PayPal, his Venmo, his Zelle, his GoFundMe. I'm going to include all of that in the description. Again, to my beloved brethren, King Shaul, I apologize. I should have had you in the prayer list every week. However, I know there were times where I was thinking after I recorded, I was supposed to add Brother Shaul. That will not happen again, brother. You have my vow. And I know how important a vow is, as I'm not only making this vow to you, I'm making this vow to the Most High. You have my vow. I will keep you in the prayer list. I want to go to the next one he sent me. As you can see, this first one says 5 days ago. 5 days ago. I then received an update from our beloved brother. And it reads, Shalom, brethren in Abba Yah. I pray all is well with each of you and your family. As for my writing unto you, I am presently in the hospital. Before treatment. No, wait a minute. I'm on the same one. 1 second. Let me make sure I got it. Oh no, this he said the same thing. I apologize. As for my writing unto you, I am presently in the hospital, because on the first one, Yeah, he was in the hospital on the first one as well. All right. Or maybe this one was the 3 days ago. That's correct. Before entering the hospital, I am currently homeless for feed treatment. Family, I need your prayers and your support and relief, and any relief that you are able to send. It is my prayer before Yah that Yah's infinite mercies, uncommon favor, and great shalom touches your heart and mind to prayerfully consider my petition and supplication. If you are able and moved of Yah's spirit, my information is below, along with my video petition, which I recorded from the hospital where I'm currently at. This is the most updated one. And yes, again, I'm going to have these links in the description, where you can actually go and prove for yourself, Israel. So from this week forth, until I've further been made aware of any change, where the Most High has moved to get our beloved brother into a much better situation, King Shalom Israel, I will keep you on the prayer list. Now that I got that out the way, the prayer list out the way, and Israel, I pray that you do keep everyone on the prayer list wrapped in prayer. In regards to King Shaul, if you are able, believe it or not, Queen Marissa and Queen Joshua, y'all have already before, able to help our beloved brother in any shape, form, or fashion. Monetarily, all of his information will be in the description. However, at the very least, for everyone on the prayer list, I ask Israel that you at least keep them wrapped in prayer. So now, let's talk about the title for this week's Truth for Thought. Real quick, what I want to do is I want to go and look at the thumbnail real fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to share my screen again, because I want to make sure that everyone notices everything in this. Of course, you see the party going on in the background. Everybody's joyful and happy and drinking and eat, drink, and be merry. That is a very basic way of saying mirth. All right. So you see in the background, everyone is giving mirth. Now, in the background, there are several different biblical nationalities that are represented in this background. I will tell you, Israel, I'm only speaking to the ones of Israelite descent. If you notice on the top left and top right, you see living your best life or living your most righteous life. Those are there for a reason. And then we'll talk about the title. Israel, is it really the time for you to be giving into mirth? All right. I just want to make sure that everybody noticed everything here. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen again. So we know what this truth or thought is about. It's in regards to, and it's a question, simply a question. Is this really the time to be giving in to mirth? Right? I know many of Israel have not been giving in to mirth, but doing what they're supposed to be doing right now, which is observing some things. Bunch of high holy days just passed. Righteous Israelites observed those high holy days and feast days. There are still some coming. That is true. Several things have happened around the world. Righteous Israel are observing. That's current. It's present tense. Are observing these things, are watching these things, right? When those high holy days happened, when observing those high holy days, I'll say even I, aside from the high holy days that have a definite, such as the Day of Atonement. Day of Atonement is a day between you and the Most High, right? But pretty much Feast of Tabernacles, it's definitely between you and the Most High. And there are specific days that are definitely holy convocated days, right? But during that feast, I even gave mirth, right? My question, though, is right now, isn't the Feast of Tabernacles. Am I to be giving mirth? Israel, are we to be giving into mirth? Right? Basically, there's a time for everything. Are we in the time for giving into mirth? Right? I want to start this. I'm gonna let's go ahead and open up 1611 King James Version of the Bible with the Apocrypha. We're gonna do a lot of reading with Ezra. We're gonna come from 2nd Esdras, and we're also gonna come from Nehemiah, where Ezra is mentioned. But I want to start by going to 2nd Esdras. I'm going to 2nd Esdras. And I want to go to chapter 3. Now, the reason I asked this question, or the reason this was put on my heart, is because there are some things that are happening, right? And we can look back in history. Noah, for instance. Noah, during the time of Noah, the world was really wicked. The earth, it was running rapid on the earth. Wickedness was running rapid on the earth. And as it's written, the most, Noah found grace, and it's a different kind of grace than the grace you read about later on in the New Testament. Found grace with the Most High. In Noah's instance, the Most High favored Noah, right? Now, for those who might not know, Noah used to be a drunkard. He was a drunkard, but the Most High will use he who he sees fit. That too is true. To do his will. So Noah is he's building this ark, right? And you'll see the word mirth has undergone many different changes as far as what it's referred to. Here today is living your best life. That's pretty much giving mirth. When people are living their best life, they are giving into mirth. They partying every Friday through Friday and Saturday, go to church on Sunday. They living their best life. They making money and they spending their money to go and give mirth, right? You might hear it as back in the day, people used to say, I'm a party hardy. Yeah, we gonna party hardy. Giving in to mirth. Back in Noah's time, he building this ark after the Most High finds favor or grace in Noah. He goes to Noah. He says, this place is exceedingly wicked. You see that in a couple of places in the Bible. You see it in another account that I'm going to kind of speak about. But it was exceedingly wicked, right? Most High told Lot, gave him some direct commandments. Lot goes, he does those direct commandments, right? That was a big boat. It's a huge boat that Noah built all alone. Now, Noah was going around telling folks, look, we need to do this. He's saying we need to do this, right? However, he is who did it. Everyone else giving in to mirth, living their best life. The whole time, the world is growing exceedingly wicked. So the spirit of mirth, and it is referred to as a spirit at times, especially when it's not the appropriate time. You're in the spirit of mirth. I'm in the spirit of observing, watching, keeping a watchful eye. So it is referred to as a spirit. And while Noah was building this ark, everyone else was in the spirit of mirth. So the Most High brings about the great flood, right? We'll look at another account. We'll look at Lot, right? Lot separates from his brother Abraham. He goes towards Sodom and Gomorrah. Everybody in Sodom and Gomorrah, boy, partying hardy. To the degree they are doing strange things. There used to be a saying, doing strange things for change. These folks, not even for change, they were just doing strange things. Even when angels were coming to walk the streets to destroy it, the people, and part of their mirth, they wanted to take the angels and get to know them, which means a sexual account. They wanted to have a sexual account with the angels, But all those people in Sodom and Gomorrah, boy, they was living their best life. It was cool for them to lie with whatever they wanted to lie with, and they loved it. Also ended in utter destruction. Even when the angels came, those people were not observant as to what was going on, right? Soon as they came to the gates, Lot knew exactly, whoa, there's two angels here. He's asking them, just come on in my place. Huh? Never mind all the other shit you see around here. You gotta, hey, take that shit with a grain of salt. The whole time, that's why they were there. So the spirit of mirth is not good, especially when it's in the incorrect time. So I want to look at some things that Esdras looked at. He looked at over time, and he mentions something in chapter 3 that I want to really look at. The reason why is because each of those times, destruction happened, right? And had those people been observant, had the people observed Noah when he said, look, we need to do this, things quite possibly could have ended differently for a great number of them. Not saying that the flood wasn't going to happen, but hey, if 12 more people would have helped would have helped Noah, more than likely they would have found, the Most High would have found favor in them. However, that never happened, so we'll never know. What we do know is, but they was living their best life. Soon as the rain started coming down, started getting knee high, they knocking on the side of the boat. It's getting thigh high. They banging on the side of the boat. It ain't the best life no more. All of a sudden, it's over. Just like that. Same thing in Sodom and Gomorrah. So I want to look at this. Well, before I look at this, let me stop sharing screen. Let me give you the biblical definition. Let's get the straight biblical definition of mirth. Straight from the KJV Dictionary, the definition of mirth. Mirth is a noun. It means social merriment, hilarity, high excitement of pleasurable feeling in company, noisy, gaiety, jollity. Mirth differs from joy and cheerfulness, as always implying making a great noise, making a noise with it, all right? So that's the biblical definition of mirth, right? I'll tell you now, mirth is as little as turning your radio up, sitting drinking, and just singing out the lyrics extremely loud. That is an example of giving into mirth, right? But let's look at this. Let me go ahead and start reading the Bible. In the 13th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon. Again, this is Ezra. He's recalling some things. And lay trouble upon my bed, and thoughts came up over my heart. right? Where you see heart, that means some thoughts came up in his mind. The reason we I keep saying this because people still don't understand. Yes, the physical heart is mentioned in the Bible, but the 98% of the time when the word heart comes up, it's talking about the mind or the brain. For I saw the desolation of Sion and the wealth of them that dwelt in Babylon, and my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said. Now, before I go any further, I want you to understand what is happening right now. Ezra is observing something. He's observing a thought, but he's observing something. And he gonna explain what all he's observing, but you see that he's actually observing something. There's a reason for that. And my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said, O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spakest at the beginning when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people. Now, this is talking about in the beginning, so he's referring to in Genesis, when he created the earth and commanded the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forth. And unto him thou gavest commandments to love thy way, which he transgressed. Which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him, and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. So Adam transgressed a law, right? Right then, he was held accountable and received a judgment. Now, that doesn't mean the judgment was executed right then, but he received a judgment. Verse 8, and every people walked after their own will, this free will shit. But the Most High gave us free will. Did he? Or did he give you commandments? Because see, free will wouldn't have happened had a certain fruit not been eaten. If all the way in the beginning, man would have just did what was commanded of him, you would have never known of what you know of as free will today. But people like to say the Most High gave us free will. Did he? He commanded the ones who initiated what you know as free will not to eat of that tree. So did he give it to you, or did he command against free will? But that's for a topic for another day. Let's keep going. And did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandment. So I want you to go back and think about that thumbnail. On the right side, you got at the very top, it said, living your best life or living your most righteous life, right? You can't do both. It's one or the other. Now, what Ezra is saying is people that walked after him, right? They walked in their own will, living their best life and despised the Most High's commandments. Let's keep going. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world and destroyedest them. And it came to pass in every of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. That's kind of why I touched on the Noah account. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah, with his household, of whom came all righteous men. Again, think about that thumbnail. And at the very top, it said, living your best life or living your most righteous life. And I know we're talking about accounts of old, but I'm asking presently. Is it best that you be living your best life or living your most righteous life? Because if you're observing things that are happening right now, today, on earth as you know it, I'll simply leave that question for you. Should you be living your best life or living your most righteous life? And I, again, am only speaking to people of Israelite descent. Let me keep going. And it happened that when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply and had gotten them many children and were a great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first. See, living your best life, that shit didn't just start happening in 2023. Folks was living their best life way back, way back when. Like I said, it's changed names ever since. As far as how man say it, right? It just so happened to be living your best life today. Let me keep going. Now when they live so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them whose name was Abraham. So even after the flood, right? Another wipeout. He judged Adam, right? The judgment wasn't executed right then, but it did get executed because Adam did die, as he never was supposed to. But he did, he died. Then comes Noah, wickedness everywhere, the flood. Now here comes Abraham. Let's keep reading. Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou shewest thy will, and madest an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed. Israel, this is you. This is you. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee and put by Esau. And so Jacob became a great multitude. And it came to pass that when thou leadest his seed, Jacob's seed, out of Egypt, thou broughtest them up to Mount Sinai. Here's another time when Israel went to living their best life, when the chosen of the Most High started living their best life. When Moses, was here, Moses up on the top of the mountain talking to the Most High, Israel down at the bottom of the mountain. Ask Aaron to make them a God that they can see right now. They want to live their best life. Instead of observing the fact that the Most High God of Israel was addressing the one that's leading them at the time. Instead of observing that at that time, Israel want to live their best life, want to party. I can only imagine Moses coming down from the top of that mountain. The amount of the spirit of mirth that he saw. All the hollering, the chatter about this golden calf. Let me keep going. And bowling the heavens, thou didst set fast the earth, movest the whole world, and madest the depths to tremble, and troublest the men of that age. Again, a bad thing happened. He's saying it troubled everyone in that age or in that time period. And thy glory went through 4 gates of fire and of earthquake and of wind and of a cold, that thou mightest give the law unto the seed of Jacob and diligence unto the generation of Israel. Again, this is why Israel, I'm only speaking to Israel, people of Israelite descent, whether you are in the truth or not. I'm only speaking to you. And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them. So again, let's look at that thumbnail. Living your best life or living your most righteous life. I'm going to keep hitting on it. For the first, Adam bearing a wicked heart transgressed. Now, only people that the Most High have given commandments, laws, and statutes to can transgress or sin, as sin is the transgression of the law. You can read that in the Bible as well. And was overcome. So even like when Adam transgressed and was overcome, right? And so be all they that are born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent. And the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. Just to in layman's terms, what you're saying, what Ezra is talking about is he saw a time when there was a separation of the wheat from the tare. All right, let's keep going. So the times passed away. He's saying, I saw where you separated some of the wheat from the tare, and time kept going. And the years were brought to an end. Then didst thou raise thee up a servant called David. So he's progressing through time, right? He started with Adam. Then he went to Abraham. Then he said Isaac, Jacob. He mentioned Moses. He didn't say his name per se. He mentioned the guy that led out of Egypt. Now we've made it to David, whom thou commandest to build a city unto thy name and to offer incense and oblations unto thee therein. When this was done by many years, meaning more years down the line, then they that inhabited the city forsook thee, start transgressing the law again. And in all things did even as Adam and all his generations had done, for they also had a wicked heart. And so thou gavest the city over into the hands of thine enemies. Now, Ezra is talking to the Most High, but he's saying, Most High, you gave that very same city that you had David to build, you gave it up to thine enemies, to your enemies. Trust me, Israel. There are 18 biblical nationalities, and you can read it for yourself. 17 of them, not only are they the Most High's enemies, and you can read this in Psalms, but they are your enemies. However, I want you to be observant and see that Ezra is saying to the Most High, you gave that city up because Israel did it again. They were observing some shit, just not the right shit. And so you gave them to your enemies, is what Ezra is saying. Are their deeds then any better than that inhabitant Babylon, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? So he's moved up to the day where he actually is. He progressed through what Ezra did is he progressed through time all the way from Adam up to where he's at present day for him. But when I came thither and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in this 13th year, so that my heart failed me. And again, he's talking about the evil that people of Israel descent are doing. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, proving this is Israel, and has spared wicked doers, and has destroyed thy people, and has preserved thine enemies, and has not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Sion? He's asking again. Are those heathens better than your chosen? Right? And this is one of the reasons why, and I love going to the book of Ezra, but this is one of the reasons why the Most High asked Ezra later on, yeah, wait a minute, son. Do you love these people more than you love me? Hey, it's obvious that Ezra loved his people, but he despised their ways. One of their ways was giving in to mirth. But let's keep reading. Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? So now he's asking, I know that you know Israel, and Israel is supposed to know you. Is there anyone else? Right? Because what he's doing again is he's comparing the inhabitants of Babylon, heathens, to Israel. right? Or what generation have so believed thy covenants as Jacob? Meaning, what other people had a covenant and they believed in it outside of Jacob and his seed, right? And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandment. Right? So you got a righteous man here in Esdras saying, I'm noticing, I'm looking around, and I'm observing this, and I'm noticing that these heathens who don't even know you, you don't know them, why they're flourishing, or it appears so. It appears that they're flourishing, right? As for your people, though, they still at the bottom of the barrel, although there was never where they were always meant to be at the top. Let me keep going. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and there's also that dwell the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. So what he's saying is, look, if I take into account all the other walks of life on earth, that's 18 biblical nationalities, all the walks of life on earth. Still, I can find your name stands nowhere but with the one people, Israel. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? So now he's saying, now we know Israel are messed up, but all these other ones, they don't even know your commandments. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. So while Ezra is observing all these things and comparing the heathen to Israel, you're going to notice that one of the things he saw was giving in the mirth. Now we're going to go to Nehemiah and we're going to look at an account where giving into mirth was called for Israel, right? Because they were being righteous. They were observing a certain thing. So we're going to go to Nehemiah 8. We're going to go to Nehemiah chapter 8. Excuse me. And we're going to get all 18 verses, right? Again, like I said, it's going to mention Ezra here. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra, the same person that we just read was having this conversation with the Most High about, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. Nobody the fuck else. Although these other nations, I'm telling you, they out here partying hardy. They out here living their best life. We finna see what Israel's supposed to be doing. Not saying that there's not a point in time when we are to give mirth. My question is it right now? Is that time right now? So we finna look at an account. It was a feast day. where Israel were to give mirth. Now watch this. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear. Look at that. All that could hear. Now, many will say, that means any and everybody in attendance. I say nay. I say nay. See, the Most High gives a heart and an ear to those he wishes. It's just like today. Today, I'm speaking to a number of people who have an ear and can hear, while there are many others. They won't get what I'm talking about. Or they'll get it because they cleave to the world, because that's where living my best life came from, the goddamn world. And they'll say stuff like, God is love. Well, if God is love, why the hell did he judge Adam? Why did all the things that Ezra recalled all the way up to Babylon, why did those things happen? Now, I'm not going to tell you that God doesn't love, but he definitely appreciates being loved back. There's only one way to do that. He appreciated so much that that's one of the ways to get wrote in another book. First, having the faith, the belief in his son, Yahweh, who the majority of the world calls Jesus Christ. And the other is doing the works, the same commandments. But just like now, back then there were ones of Israel, and they just couldn't hear these commandments because they just couldn't keep these commandments because they just didn't. They wanted free will, which was never supposed to happen. Again, that was never supposed. If Adam and Eve hadn't broke that first commandment, free will, as you know, it never would have happened. And all that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the 7th month. Listen to this, the first day of the 7th month. All right, let's keep going. There are some feast days in the 7th month. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday, before the men and the women and those that could understand. So there was some of Israel, because he's only reading this to Israel. There was some of Israel that couldn't understand, further proving the Most High gives a heart and an ear, a mind and an ear to those who he sees fit. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. I want you all to notice that they're very observant, right? They're not giving in the mirth right here. They're very observant. They're listening to the law. They are trying to live their most righteous life. Let's keep going. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose, and beside him stood Mattithiah and Shema and Ananiah and Urijah and Hilkiah and Maaseiah on his right hand, and on the left hand Pedaiah and Mishael and Malachi and Hashum and Hashbadana, Zechariah, and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands, and they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord with their face to the ground. Also Jeshua and Bani and Sherebiah, Jamin, Akub, Shabbatai, Hadijah, Messiah, Maaseiah, Kalida, Azariah, Jozabad, Hanan, Peliah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their place. So they read in the book of the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. And Nehemiah, which is Tishatha, and Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not, nor weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. So they started weeping when they heard the words of the law. And they had to remind them, look, this is not what you need to weep about. Don't weep about hearing the law. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat and the drink, and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, hold your peace, for the day is holy. Neither be ye grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink, and to send portions, and to make great mirth, because they had understood the words that was declared unto them. And on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law. And they found written in the law, which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel shall dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. What feast, Israel, is this? Let me keep going. And that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount and fetch out olive branches and pine branches and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of fig trees to make booths, as it is written. Living their most, they're doing the most righteous things they can, right? But you notice that was when they was giving mirth. And it was the time for it. Let's keep going. Look at what they are observing as well. They're actually observing things, right? Let me keep going. So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, everyone upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the court of the house of God, and in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity. made booths. So this is Israel. And sat under the booths, for since the days of Jeshua, the son of Nun. Who is that, Israel? I said who that is. That I did a truthful thought of that person. Called a look at the man of renown. Let me keep going. Unto that day had not the children of Israel done so, and there was very great gladness. Also day by day, from the first day until the last day. This is the Feast of Tabernacles. He read in the books of the law of God. And they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly, according unto the manner. I even said about some feasts that just passed. And on the appropriate days, I gave mirth myself. But there are certain days. And one example I gave was the Day of Atonement. Well, on a certain day of the Feast of Tabernacles, it's a holy convocated day. It's not a day to give mirth. It's a day to be observant of the Most High. And you see, they were. And observant of the book of the law, basically the Bible. Right? So now, there you see, when you're to give mirth, that doesn't mean to give mirth all the damn time. Because all the time isn't time to give mirth. Right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24. I want to go to Isaiah chapter 24 just to prove it. Just to prove it. Isaiah chapter 24. Now, again, I want you to think back on that title, back on that thumbnail. Israel, is this really the time to be giving in to mirth? I even put 2 options up there. Is it the time to be living your best life? Or is it time to be living your most righteous life? Because if you are observant of things that are happening in this time, it's not a high holy day. It's not a feast day. But let's look at something different. Let's just look at something different. Behold, I'm going to get this whole chapter. Isaiah 24:1. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and make it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with their mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled, for the Lord have spoken this word. Now, some of the things that's going on today, Israel, are leading to prophecies about things like this, about the coming of Yahweh Shai and the day of judgment, which is going to be a lot of death throughout the whole earth, right? But there are things that lead up to that were to be signs that Israel were to observe, right? Not having Freaknik, right? or any of these other little, I guess you can call them parties, soirees. They give them all kind of. This is a good time, Israel, for you to be extremely observant. More chariots are being witnessed throughout the world, especially in God-forsaken Babylon. Every day, I get like 2 or 3 DMs or emails or text messages. Different chariot sites. These things are happening for real. Let's keep reading. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Guess what be going on in that? They living their best life. They giving in to mirth. Eating, drinking, being merry. I don't care how you want to put it. How you were taught to put it. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof because they, now it's talking about a certain people again. Only one people of the 18 biblical nationalities have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. With only one people was that made. Therefore hath the curse, a lot of them, you can read them in Deuteronomy 28, devoured the earth. And they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth. All the merry-hearted do sigh. See, there's going to be some things that's going to come, and I promise. As it is written, many men are going to be fearing. I mentioned about the coming of the Son of Man in Daniel 7 breakdown part 2, right? And when men see the coming of the Son, first thing that's going to run over them is fear. Even if they out there living their best life at the time, they can be at a party, drinking, living their best life. They can be at a quote unquote a little swingers party or an orgy or living their best life, right? The first thing that's going to overtake them is fear, right? Let me keep going. The mirth of the tabrets ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. It's a whole bunch of, now everybody is quiet. See, there were some things that happened prior to this. Had they observed those things, I read last week. Even Yahweh Shah said, don't let this stuff creep up on you. Yes, I'm going to come like a thief in the night, right? Stay watchful. Stay observant. His exact words. Keep watch. Not live your damn best life. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. There is something that is to come. that is eerily reminiscent of this. But the signs leading to that, they're happening now. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaming grapes when the vintage is done. They shall lift up their voice, they shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Now I want you to think back when Noah happened, when that rain started, and it got up to their ankles. All the giving in the mirth, well, not all of it, I'll say a bunch of it stopped. They were like, whoa, this ain't never happened before, right? Then the water got up to their knees. Then it was, hey, where's that crazy guy? He was saying something about a boat, right? So now they walking looking for the boat. Then the water gets up to their thighs. Oh, ain't nobody giving mirth now. Israel, I'm not telling you there's not a time to give in to mirth. What I'm simply asking, right? Had the people of Noah's time observed what Noah was saying, could that have ended differently? As it was going to be a time of destruction. Had the people in Sodom and Gomorrah just heard as Lot was pleading with them, look, just stop doing what y'all doing. Could things have gone a little differently? Well, Yahweh Shai is going to return. I read a lot about how that's going to look just last week. Right? Are you observing things that are happening today as they point straight towards that prophecy of the return of the Son of Man? I will tell you, I am happy to know that soon, prayerfully, I get to see the coming of the Son of Man. So I am happy, but I can't give in to mirth because I'm too busy observing the signs to assure that they're lining up. I'm too busy making sure I keep the Sabbath. I'm too busy making sure I got my fringes on. But back when I observed the Feast of Tabernacles, yeah, there were some days I gave in to mirth as I was supposed to. With what's going on right now today, Israel, I'm simply asking, is it time to be giving in to mirth? Or is it time to be extremely observant and watchful, as even Yahweh said in Matthew, Luke, and Mark to all the disciples and all of Israel that had an ear, that had a heart and ear that the Most High gave? I'm kind of looking back over things in the Bible, kind of like Ezra did. He looked back over time. And I'm just reflecting, but I'm reflecting it with you, Israel. I want to ask you, with what's going on today, right? And today is not a high holy day or feast day. Do we need to be giving in to mirth? Or would it behoove us to be observant so that when he comes like a thief in the night, we're prepared? So with that, Israel, I want to say again, I want to ask you all to please keep in prayer everyone on the prayer list. In the description, I will have all of Brother Shalom Israel's information. I will also have those links to his pleas, for lack of better terms, to his cries to his brethren. I will also have the links to them there in the description. And with that, Israel, let me stop sharing my screen. I really want you to ask yourselves, Israel, with what's going on, all these things that we've read about, and now we're starting to see a lot of these things are starting to happen. Should you be living your best life? Or should you be living your most righteous life possible? So with that, it's your beloved brother, King Marcus, saying I love you. Be at the Most High will. Till next time, Shalom.